Hi everyone, my name is Roy Darnell. I'm the group lead at Perception Point, and I specialize in detection. And today, what we're going to talk about is cybersecurity in the context of machine learning and AI. So, I will first show you a little bit what an attack looks like today, and then we're going to discuss state-of-the-art cyber tools. So, first thing, which is really important to understand nowadays, is that it's really easy to be an attacker. It's really easy to attack. And the best example I have for you to remember is you can always open a new Gmail account and then simply send an email to anyone basically and ask for their password. Now, you will think this is foolish because why would anyone answer for such an obviously malicious question? And the answer is most people won't. But in great numbers, one of them will think it's legitimate for whatever reason. So there's always a question of numbers when and you just need someone to put off their guard for a single second and answer whatever you want to get. And I'm going to show you how what an attack looks like from an attacker's perspective. There are various tools um, to attack with today. And we're going to discuss some conventional tools. There are newer tools nowadays, and we will discuss them as well. So basically, we're going to build a website which looks legitimate, and we're going to leverage an infrastructure that will help us send malicious mails to victims, and we will see what it looks like from the victim's point of view. All right. So this is a dashboard, the attacker's dashboard, and now he will simply set some configurations to the system where he wants the email to be sent from, his own address and password, etc. And this is the victim, and we will later see what it looks like from the victim's perspective. What you will notice is that at no point, um, no coding is required. This is all pre-made tools, readily available on the internet, of course. The attacker just created an email template. And what we want is to replace the existing template with a better template. So this tool helps generate attack templates. And you simply choose the type of attack you want. You put in some configurations to make it relevant so that you are the one who will get the information. And the template was made. This is what it looks like. And so this looks like a legitimate Google page, but it's not. This is the template made, and it's supposed to prompt the user to interact with a malicious website. He's copying the template code, putting it into the platform, the attack platform. Replacing the placeholders with the placeholders used by his platform. There are, of course, many guides as to how to do something like this exactly. Now he's replacing in the template the URL that he will generate, and that's where he will collect the data from from a malicious website. So basically, this attack is an email being sent, which leads you to a URL, and from the URL, you collect the victim's credentials. Now he's putting the website up locally, but of course, he can do it anywhere. And now he's starting a new attack campaign. So this tool really helps him manage an entire attacking campaign. It's GUI based, really easy to operate. Once again, zero coding involved. And now his campaign is up and running, and he can start sending mails to people who want to attack. This is what it will look like. As you can see, when the email is sent, it looks like this. This looks very legitimate to most users. And if someone isn't suspicious enough, he will just open it and check why he was hacked. You can see it's customized to his own Gmail. Everything looks very legitimate. And when he will sign in right now to what seems to be a Google website, it's not, of course. Everything looks good. Looks like he signed in, everything now is okay. But in fact, the credentials he just put in were sent to the attacker. And the attacker has a very nice dashboard where you can see all the data about the attacked person and his credentials, which he just got. And a very simple end-to-end attack, which took about 3 to 4 minutes to set up. And of course, this platform allows him to attack a lot of people simultaneously with great ease. And these have been around for a long time. And this is why cyber is really easy today. And it's easy to attack a lot of people. And if you attack enough people, some of them will fall for it. And then you have their credentials. You can move on from there. And right before we're going to move to defense, I just want to mention all of the latest advancements you'll probably know, which are generative models, Gen AI, all of these buzzwords. And we will talk about how these relate, how these latest developments relate to this domain and how we see the effect of these in the real world. So, for example, songs written by AI, pictures being made by AI, and what we're going to talk about. So, first of all, angles of attack, specifically BEC, business email compromise, which is when you attack an organization's email account. And we'll shortly discuss traditional defense, what it looks like in the cybersecurity of BEC, and how AI is being leveraged for offense, defense. And I'll try to give you a crash course about models, machine learning models, what they mean. And then lastly, a large defensive model framework I've been working on for the past years. So first of all, malware in 0 days. So these are file-based attacks. We won't dive deeply or at all into these. Of course, you can attack the endpoint device, network. You go for phishing credentials, and you can leverage different evasion techniques. There are many types of attacks, and we will focus on a very interesting one, which is BC. And it's interesting because we all know it. And on the base level, there is nothing wrong with someone you don't know who sends you an email. Just someone wants to make contact for whatever reason. And this is a part of what makes this so difficult to overcome, because there's nothing wrong with the message itself, except it might lead to a bad place where someone tries to take advantage of your position, your knowledge, or whatever responsibilities or resources you have. And this is an example exactly like this, where you simply someone sent an email, an attacker sent an email, and what he asks is plain words, not using any known compromise system, 0 days or state-of-the-art malwares, etc. Nothing like that. Simply asking the person, like in the first example I showed you, to send money, which he's supposedly supposed to get, to somewhere else. And this, of course, can happen in real life. But in this case, he's not really he's not really the chief financial officer or whatever. He's the attacker, and it's an impersonation. This is like an impersonation attack. And these can have so many different layouts and versions. And we'll see how it might be possible to overcome these. So how do you create a BC attack? First of all, you scrape the internet. What do you need to scrape? You need to look for emails of people who you might want to attack, for example. You can also buy data. Data can help you a lot, making your attack more reliable. For example, if you buy an existing conversation between the CFO of some company to whoever he's talking to, and then you just try to impersonate the person he's talking to, like the example we just saw. Maybe you can exploit previous success, meaning you already hacked some mailbox and you're just waiting there to see if you will get an opportunity sometime. And of course, you can just send a bunch of emails in bulk to a lot of different email addresses you have and hope someone will catch on your campaign. And if you leverage automated frameworks, it can be easier, faster, and larger scale. So how does traditional defenses work? So first of all, it assumes that in order to create a new phishing campaign, it will take a lot of effort, meaning you have to create content, you have to build offensive infrastructure, for example, the email service you're going to send emails from, you need new targets, etc. And usually it's difficult to get a hold of all of these aspects, and attackers reuse existing elements from their previous attacks. And traditional defense counts on that, meaning if you've already saw the content, the attacking content in advance, or the infrastructure, for example, the IP these attacks came from. Maybe this specific individual has been attacked a lot of times in the past, then you're more aware that he might be attacked again, etc. So this previous information can really help defend better. And usually these defense mechanisms look, for example, for previous formats that have been used for attacks in the cyber landscape. So, for example, this simple template where the name, the date, the link, and another name will be changed constantly. But if you know to look for this exact template, you know for a fact it's an attack because there is very low probability that someone will create this exact sequence of words in a legitimate email, although this possibility does exist. And this is a very problematic perspective or approach because it's very difficult to maintain. You have to constantly look for new templates. You have to adjust them, and it doesn't scale. And of course, with GPT and all of the other generative models out there now, it's really, really simple to take a single phrase or a single attack campaign email you want, and then just rephrase it as many times as you want And this is very interesting from the traditional defense perspective, because this means that the attacker can very easily send a truly unique email to every different person he's attacking. And let's say he starts with this specific message, he can easily generate as many as he would like that will keep the same sentiment, the same ideas, the same links, the same wording, but they will change the structure, meaning there is no template to find here. Sure, there's a sentiment, there's some message being kept the same, but it's not in the words level, it's in the sentiment level, which can't be found with a simple regex or something like that. So what does it look like? Let's say we take a lot of instances of attacks and legitimate content and try to put it on a graph. So the higher the instance is on this graph, the better the reputation is of the domain that sent this email. So if it's an organizational email, probably has very high reputation. But if an attacker just open a domain and only sends attacks from it, it will have a very bad reputation. Same goes for content urgency. Let's say we have some black box. You put in some words and it tells you whether text has urgency in it or not. The more urgent it is, the further it goes right. Less urgent, further goes left. And if we look at a lot of text looking at from these two features, it's likely that we will see that if the reputation is really good and the content isn't urgent, we can expect a lot of good emails to be in this area. But if the content is very urgent, for example, give me your password right now, or maybe even a threat, and domain reputation is really low, it's likely we will see a lot of attacks at this area. And this is, of course, a very simplistic perspective on reality. And in reality, it will be meshed together, these V's and X's. But we can still imagine it looks more or less like this. And what we want to do, or what a model is that circle here. Meaning after we've seen all of these examples, we can try to circle or bound the X's in this example. And every next instance we see, which falls to this category or inside this circle, we will classify it as a possible attack. So when I say model, think there is some space. In this example, the reputation and urgency space. And the circle is the model, meaning we're looking for everything that falls into it, and then we will classify it according to what the model is classifying. Now, what are ensemble models, and what is the next problem we're talking about? So let's say we have a lot of different models. Some of them look for hot, cold. Some of them look for urgency, reputation, lookalike. There are a lot of aspects you can try to look for in the cybersecurity, or actually probably any domain. And what happens when you have a lot of models? How do you decide? You can think about it also as layers, maybe, where every layer or every model or every combination of models are being calculated, make a decision, and then, for example, maybe they average, or maybe there is something smart that makes the decision, and every different model helps you make a decision at some aspect. So the more different layers you have, which are independent of each other, the harder it is to penetrate your system. And Lucid is an example of such framework. So to sum it all, here's a real example from the real world of an attack. And you can see here the different models or evidences that were caught. Some of them are created from ML architectures and models. Some of them are very simple counters or reputation systems, and multiple layers can catch something and make it very difficult for any attack to penetrate. So that's it for this.